Hello everyone, and today I'll be talking about 3 easy do-it-yourself tips for keeping supplier profile information up to date. The first is actually what we call system parameter. It's really just a site level setting that is maintained by Ariba and can be updated via a service request. But there's a parameter at the site level that will determine how the supplier interacts and behaves with the supplier profile questionnaire upon creating their account or upon supplier profile questionnaire expiration. So as you can see here, we have a few options. One, we cannot require the supplier to update their information if expired or if they haven't filled it in the first place. If we don't need for the supplier to do that before responding to an RFP, for example. Or we can set the parameter to require that the buyer specific questions, that's to say the questions that you configured specially in your site for the supplier profile, are always up to date, and they would be required to answer upon creating their account, and then also if some time passed and their profile expired and they went in to log into an RFP and respond, they would be prompted to update their profile. And the final parameter setting is requiring that suppliers keep both their Ariba cloud profile and their buyer-specific questions up to date. You might want to go for number 3 if you're relying on certain information that the supplier is filling in at the Ariba cloud account level. Like I said, you can request for a change in these parameters via a service request. And the value here really is just guiding suppliers upon account creation and when their profile is expired to make sure your supplier information is always up to date. The second DIY can actually be carried out directly in the supplier profile questionnaire. And it's just enabling for the supplier profile questionnaire to have a validity period. And then after that period has passed, the supplier will be prompted, depending on how you configured our DIY number 1 at the site level, the supplier will be prompted to update any pertinent information if the profile has expired. And finally, the third tip, which I'll also show in solution, is configuring responses to specific questions as responses that expire on a specific date, because that date may be different than the overall expiration or validity period of the entire questionnaire. So whenever you're creating a question, you can go ahead and mark it as expires on a specific date, and the UI will remind suppliers that, for example, their quarterly certificate has expired and they must log back in and update that. So here I am logged into SAP Ariba. I'll click on Manage and Supplier Knowledge and navigate to the Supplier Profile Questionnaire. I'll actually go ahead and create a new draft here by clicking Actions, Edit Content, and that will open up the options here. And here is the second DIY tip we talked about if we require users to update the profile periodically, and if so, the update period. Finally, at the most granular level, there may be a specific question that we want the supplier to set as a question that expires. Let's suppose this question 7.1.4, are you a state government certified company? Perhaps the answer to that question can update quarterly, which is not the cadence set on the overall profile. So if you click on the question and edit, you can go ahead and set the question as yes, expires on a specific date. And once you've made any changes to your supplier profile questionnaire, just remember to come up top and hit publish, and the changes will go into effect. And that's our DIY for today. If you have any questions, you can always click on Help and go to the Help Center and search by keywords such as supplier profile questionnaire.